Hello and welcome to A Slice of Pie, the semi-weekly Newsish show that we do on this channel. And I'm gonna be completely honest, this is gonna be more of an update on the channel than it will be on the tech and gaming industry because nobody's doing anything. How is everybody doing this week? Honestly, I haven't put out nearly as many videos as I have wanted to, not because I haven't been recording or trying to record. No, I've been kind of trapped by work. I worked 7 days straight, had a single day off, and then worked up until now. And it's been driving me nuts because I actually have a huge project that I'm trying to finish. You see, Dark Matter's parts are in. All of the parts for Dark Matter have come in. We have all of the liquid cooling parts. We're ready to go, and I've had it since Wednesday. And unfortunately, I'm not even going to be able to build it today. I have to be patient and do it tomorrow because we gotta finish a secret weapon that we have for Dark Matter that there's gonna be a whole nother video on. So there's like at least 3 videos that I have in the works. Not to mention, I have one that's a viewer requested video that is also going to be completed in the next few days, which means I have somewhere between 4, and I actually have a 5th one in there, and 5 videos that I am going to have completed within the next bit of time. Problem is, time. I just haven't had any of it. But the good news is, because I've been working as much as I have, I've at least been able to bankroll the entire thing. So, I guess silver linings? The other big thing that we're trying out now on this channel is I think I finally figured out how to get off the automatic settings, and I'm actually trying out manual settings. So let me know what you guys think, because honestly, from what I see, it does look pretty good. That and a couple other things from behind the scenes that I've been working on. So essentially, there's just been a lot of progress being made. It's just been being made a lot slower than I would want it to. All right, that's enough for GreaterThanPie stuff. Let's actually talk about the tech and gaming industries. A new Threadripper processor is on the way. It is actually a particularly weird one. It is the Threadripper Pro line. It supposedly is going to have a brand new socket and motherboard type, but is not actually meant to replace the current Threadripper line. The Threadripper Pro is supposed to actually be a bridge between the EPYC Rome processors and the Threadripper line, offering some extra compatibility for pro level workloads, but also kind of gimping itself in some gaming workloads. As where Threadripper is kind of like a perfect prosumer processor, the actual Threadripper Pros will be more of an actual professional workload processor. So the AMD APU leaks have actually been quite interesting for a number of reasons. One of them being, there's actually more APUs this time than we thought. Normally AMD only makes like a Ryzen 3 and a Ryzen 5 variant of the APUs, but this time it looks like they're going up to a Ryzen 7 with several SKUs in between. This is actually kind of exciting because these processors are actually a little bit easier to troubleshoot than traditional processors with a separate graphics processing unit. Speaking of AMD processors though, the Ryzen XT variants are actually out, and we found out what the T stands for. The T stands for turbo. I don't know what the X stands for. Extra turbo? I don't know. Either way, they're out. They're cool, but much like we suspected, they're not the massive push forward that we're expecting from the next generation of AMD parts. The silicon itself though is pretty impressive, and it does have better thermal headroom than the existing ones. And because they come in at the same price as the MSRP of the X variant processors, essentially the X is being moved down. AMD hasn't officially lowered the price, but all of the retailers have. So you essentially have an option between the standard, the X, and the XT when you're picking a processor, and the XT being the absolute top of that exact stack. You might actually see a pretty significant quality boost in your favorite YouTubers' videos, especially if they have over 10,000 subs. Not because of anything that YouTube's doing, no, because there's a new camera on the way, and it is honestly extremely impressive. Before this, you would have to get something like a Red Cinema camera to get quality 8K footage out of a video camera. But now, Canon is releasing the R5, which is capable of shooting 8K 60 frames per second, which is amazing. It means that Canon, in a body that is not too dissimilar from the one that I currently use, has released a camera that pretty much cannibalizes every single cinema camera they have ever released, with both the best sensor and the highest quality that they could possibly muster. This is actually big for a number of reasons. One, people like myself, which do not use a film crew, can actually have access to 8K, which is big. Not only that, with the size of the camera, you could actually feasibly get 8K footage in places where it was once impossible. Far Cry 6 has leaked, and Ubisoft actually followed it up with a tweet and everything, so it's confirmed that it's real and it is happening. Interesting things of note. The villain is the dude from Breaking Bad. Honestly, like, one of the best villains. He also was in The Mandalorian as the dude with the darksaber, and oh my god, I can't wait for season 2 where he actually gets to come into his own. Yeah, either way, he's an awesome villain in all of the things that he's played so far, and the fact that we're going to see him again as a villain, yeah, pretty cool. I guess it's kind of typecasting at this point. Either way, people are speculating that this might actually be Voss's origin story, as a kid is featured very prominently in the front of the cover, as if the main villain is grooming this younger child to be the next in line. And interestingly enough, there are some similarities between Far Cry 3 and this new game. In fact, this is the first time since Far Cry 3 that we're returning back to an island. Now, this could just be speculation because island plus island equals the same game, but in reality, it could be really interesting if this really were Voss's origin stories, as he really is just the best Far Cry villain. Nintendo has apologized for Joycon Drift. They've actually acknowledged it, and honestly, they've apologized for it. Now, that being said, honestly, I think it's partially a design flaw, which is weird because Nintendo generally doesn't have design flaws in their controllers, especially because as a first-party company, there are literally like NES controllers that still work today. I have one that is in perfect condition and it just works. So it's very weird to see that Nintendo kind of dropped the ball on easily one of their most popular consoles in the recent decade. Crysis is launching first on the Nintendo Switch. What? Why is easily the least powerful console getting Crysis first? Is it because they can actually use less effects and therefore it doesn't have to look as impressive? Probably. But Crysis on the Switch coming out first. I did not expect to be saying that. So here's a weird story that I stumbled upon, and it's just so bizarre I have to share it with you. At one point, Pikachu had breasts. Not by the original creator, by the way. When they were localizing Pokemon for the West, some American artists decided to contribute what they thought Pokemon should look like to appeal to American children. And unfortunately, that resulted in a sketch with Pikachu looking like something out of Cats with breast. And that is actually a quote. And that's the scariest part. That this really happened, and we could have had a very different Pokemon here in the West. All right, let's talk about a couple of cases that I discovered, because honestly, as I said, slow news week for everybody except for the case manufacturers. So, Lian LI is actually launching everything within the next 2 months. They are launching the O11 Dynamic Mini next month. They are launching a new air-cooled focused version of the Land Cool 2. Actually, like this month, they're releasing another Land Cool PC. This one is actually designed around an extreme budget at like $70 to $80 with giant 200mm fans in the front, which will be competing against specifically the Cooler Master H500. And they're also going to be launching an AIO and the one that I'm actually most excited for, the daisy chainable linking fans that literally lock together like Legos. Those are honestly my favorite product that is possibly going to be coming out very soon. Realistically, I want those, and I also want the O11D Mini because I want to do the O11D Mini as Mini Nova and my home theater PC. That would be my ideal setup, but that is going to have to wait because I have one more important project that I have to work on first. Speaking of home theater PCs though, I did find this case from a case manufacturer that I've never heard of, and it actually looks pretty cool. It looks like if you took the Xbox Series X, you turned it on its side, and then that's how you ran your PC. Honestly, it's actually a pretty cool small form factor build, and I just wanted to highlight it because it was definitely a little weird. And then finally, we have a case that I honestly don't know how well it would work. Looking at the images of this case, this water cooling specific case, you see a lot of weird oddities, and it supposedly comes with a radiator that is aluminum instead of copper, which means you're going to have to use aluminum parts to cool your system, which isn't the end of the world, but most high-end water cooling parts are actually copper or nickel plated copper. And for good reason, as those two elements don't interact with each other negatively, as where aluminum and copper do interact quite negatively. And then just to end on, we also have this little accessory that EK is putting out for their round reservoir pumps. It is an RGB top, and I kind of love the fact that it exists. Supposedly it actually adds more features to the pump on how you can route things, but it adds RGB, and honestly, you know, adding more RGB to a build, it just works. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, you can leave a like, comment, subscribe. I do content like this every other week, and if you subscribe now, there's gonna be a lot of content, specifically around a test PC coming out very soon. So yeah, thank you guys again. Wolfie, out.